Maybe I was wrong, man. Listen, we are talking Wu Assassins Season 1, Episode 2 today. Let's have a discussion. Hey, how is everybody? My name is Al. We are talking Wu Assassins Season 1, Episode 2 today. A special welcome if you are new here. I hope you consider subscribing and joining this amazing community. Now, let's start with an overview and then we're going to get into it because I know the last time we talked about the show in Episode 1, I didn't have nice things to say, but I changed my tune a little bit. So, in this episode, basically as a brief synopsis, this is going to be full of spoilers, by the way. This show finds us with Kai learning more about who he is as a Wu Assassin and his abilities get better as the Wu Assassin. We find out a little bit about his past and the closeness of what they all were as children. We also find out that his uncle protects him at a critical part in his childhood by killing someone that Kai was supposed to kill himself. And then his uncle whispers that phrase in his ear, "You're not a killer," which is an important thing to note because you notice that Kai says that a lot even now today. We also find more about Kai's friend who has a drug habit, and we find more about Catherine Winnick's character who finally connects with Kai through her connection with Lou as she goes to take Kai to get a windshield for the food truck that he's dreaming of starting. We also find out in this episode that Lou has pressure being put on him from the Italians as they want him to step up production for their business. So it is true that episode 2 actually is better, especially if you start to look at it through a certain perspective. You will really enjoy episode 2 and the whole season for that matter, I think a lot better, and you'll really appreciate even the writing and the whole story a lot better. But it does not escape the fact that a lot of the performances in the show are not that good. And I want to highlight the fact that Aiko, and I love him, he was awesome in The Raid, and I like some of the other things he's done as well. He is really not strong enough of an actor to me to carry any kind of dramatic role. He's great in action, but in terms of the drama that this show brings into it, it's an action drama really. He's just not that good of an actor to be the lead in this show. And then there's an issue with how some of the ethnic groups in this show are over characterized, if you will. So the Italians are an example of that. They are depicted almost like a group of Italians would be depicted almost in early 80s television or mid 80s television, where everything was like over dramatized and it was just so obvious that they were trying to go for these Italian characteristics that it really almost seemed comical in their delivery. And I feel like that is the case sometimes when we are seeing kind of these ethnic depictions in Wu Assassins. It needs to be updated, I guess is the best way to say that. Now, having said all of that, if you do a couple of things, I think that you will really appreciate this show much more. And this is what happened to me actually after seeing this show for a second time because I'm on my second round of binging it. A couple of things. Number one, if you just say to yourself, okay, the performances are not that good, it is what it is. And not everybody's like that. I like Winnick's character. There's a lot of folks in here I think that do very well. Louis Tan, I just think on the whole, the acting's not that great. But if you say, okay, cool, I accept that, then it actually opens up a pleasure factor in this show that will allow you to enjoy the show a lot more. Because now I do think that the writing actually is not that bad, as I said, from episode 1. I think actually it's pretty good, and I think it's pretty smart. I think they actually do a good job of putting things in one episode that really foreshadow or lead us into the episode to come. So I think they do a good job of that. I do think that the action sequences are phenomenal here. Let me touch on something, because someone said that this doesn't have the cinematic magic. I think I read an article or flair or something like that of Hong Kong cinema, and that's because it's not. It is Silat, and Silat is a different type of martial arts execution, so it looks different on screen. There's nothing, in my opinion, nothing as flowing, as beautiful as Wushu on screen, and that's because the movements are so they're so fluid, they're so vibrant, they're so dynamic, and you don't have many martial arts that show or present that way on screen as Wushu. So it looks different because it is different. Silat is executed differently. You are getting much more of raid type action in this show as opposed to what you might get in a show like Into the Badlands. Now for some of you guys, that's great. You like that. I know in the comments, some of you guys prefer kind of that more grounded martial arts. You feel like it's much more practical. You feel like it's much more realistic. You guys already know that I'm all about the wire work, the high flying action. I love it. I can't get enough of it. But you do not, this is not Wushu based martial arts, so that's why that's the case. But again, for some of you guys, that's like your cup of tea and that's your thing and you love it. Alright guys, so check out our Wu Assassins playlist right there, and also don't forget to check out our Versus series right here, especially the video where we are putting Superman against Homelander. I'll see you guys there. Peace.